Yep, we'll start with the pledge.
Flag, please.
Flags in back.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome. We will start with the school budget. I will start with the first page like always, which is the overview, and then we will go through any significant line changes afterwards. Everybody with me on the Orrington school budget revenues? So starting at the top of the page, which is a summary of what is below it. Carry forward money or anticipated and unanticipated balance for next year is $195 and $239. State debt service is nil. State foundation allocation is $3,695,204, also known as subsidy. Local allocation is $2,807,932, and additional local $1,678,651, which brings you to the grand total of $8,616,028. The breakdown of the sections below it. So when you look at the gross budget comparison from last year to this year, it's up $445,000 or 5.45%. The number that means the most to the town is the local appropriation, which is up $625,812 or 16.21%. There are two factors that go into that. When you look right below it, you will see the state subsidy dropped $330,743, which is your state foundation allocation up top. That is down 8.22%. That is directly proportional to your state valuation, which is the section below it, where the increase was for the state valuation from the state's perspective is $45,266,667 or 11%. Which outpaced the average for the state. That is the state that we talk about every year. The state foundation formula is based on the number of students you have and their equation of your ability to pay. That is directly proportional to your property tax, which is where that number comes from. Before I go through the line item budgets, because I hit that quickly, are there any questions on those sections? Okay, then if you turn the page, line 17 is the first significant increase, and that is based on insurance liability, and that is because of the requirement to carry cybersecurity insurance, which is what that number is. If you look at 26 and 28 together, that is based on increases in the increase of benefits as well. Line 49, insurance property, you'll see that increase there as well, and that is simply based for the same coverage. Turning the page, line 64, benefits to custodians, you'll see the increase, one more is taking insurance, and then the natural increase based on inflation of the actual benefits. Line 73 is our share of transportation for the garage. That is based on salaries and benefits as well. That is the increase. If you go to line 98, you'll see an increase of $34,000 for the pre-K2 teachers. That's based on the negotiated agreement and the number of people we have there. Turning your page, line 112, increase of $26,890, and line 115, increase of $13,795. Those are your two numbers there. That's based on negotiated agreement and people who are taking benefits, as well as the natural increase built into those through insurance. Everyone's favorite section, 163 through 166, is tuition. You'll see an increase in the bottom line of $131,975. Based on Brewer's current cost is $11,600, BAPS is $14,926, and RSU 22, which is Hampden, which is our third biggest receiving district, is $12,366. Turning the page, line 201, salaries for Ed Tech. You will see that we've added one more there, and then it's a natural increase. 205 and 206, which is benefits for teachers and ed techs, increase of 15,985 and 18,676. That's the addition of the one ed tech, and then the natural increase of the actual cost of the benefits. Line 211 and 212 wash. That's because that's an auditing change that requires moving tuition from special ed to tuition private special ed for students that are in a special purpose out of district placement. And then turning the page, you will see on line 258, the increase of supplies for athletic, and that's just based on the cost of doing business. Which brings us to the line 280, the overall increase of $445,069. Again, I'm happy to take any questions or go over any specifics, but those are your major swings.
What was BAP's tuition? I got the other two.
14,926. Other questions?
Could you give us the numbers, the enrollment of students that you have?
In this building,
Yeah.
we have about 351.
And how does that compare to last year?
We were at 350. So pretty much flat, yeah, flat. Other questions? All right, Mr. Backman.
Thank you much. I will cover the town's budget, similar to the style and speed at which Mr. Stoughton has graciously done the school. On the revenue side, the excise tax, we estimate an additional 25,000. And then the Department 200, 2010 revenue sharings, the state is taking another $60,000 away from us. If you turn the page, code enforcement, we are budgeting an increase in that department due to increased cost that we will charge for permit fees. Department 400 miscellaneous income, that is a project that will get deferred into another year, but that's getting replaced by the reimbursement from the state because of the solar array we have finally installed and operational at the East Orrington Business Park. An additional increase, fire and EMS billing, estimated an additional $29,500 due to increased call volume that the ambulance is going out on. So not counting tax revenues, I anticipate $373,611 as increased budgeted revenues for next year. Questions on those two pages? If we turn the page, Department 110, the manager's office. Overall, there's a decrease of $10,000. There was a project we were supposed to do last year that I had some part-time people in that did not happen. Again, that project is 2 years down the road. Insurance and benefits, health and dental is our biggest increase, as well as the additional Main State retirement. Town hall, slight increase of $1868 overall. Turning the page to technology. The IT system, our accounting software is going up, and we are in the process of upgrading our server to better service our system, and also to get in line with the cybersecurity. Department 220 assessing. We had 3 budgeted assessors last year. We are down to 2 now. Code enforcement, Department 230, same staffing, just an annual raise. Department 310, Public Works, regular employees. I'd like to add 1 staff person to take more projects on around town. You will see about 4 or 5 lines down, the public area mowing. We are no longer contracting that out. Public Works will be taking that on themselves, and that's the additional employee. So the net change in that department was $39,134. Turning the page, Public Works equipment, Public Works garage. Slight increases due to additional equipment, additional utilities for that operation. Department 420, solid waste, increase in that cost due to tipping fees that we're responsible for now. Hoping that that facility will come online by the end of the year, and so it'll be only half a year of spending. Conservation has been moved to a reserve years ago. Recreation is the standard increase in salary line items. Turning the page, local area contributions, no change. Department 510, the fire department and rescue. The first line item is a increase of $72,000. That's adding an additional person on staff to have 2 people in the station at all times, 24/7, and added on-call employees for additional time to cover the increased call volume. That makes up most of the increase in that department. Turning to page 520, the police department, the sheriff. This is a contractual increase. The town has budgeted 4 deputies. It is finally on 4 deputies now, so there is 24/7 coverage on site all the time in the town. And there is some overlap where 2 deputies are on at the same time for 2 or 3 hours per day. Department 610, the library, standard increase in the staff and additional hours for the part-time employees. That increase is $7,344. In Department 670, capital projects, did a little shuffling around, but kept that department pretty much flat. Department 675, there's nothing budgeted. Any questions on the town side?
Several questions, actually.
Why is there nothing budgeted under, the smoke contingency?
That was a department we created 4 or 5 years ago when gas was going crazy and we didn't have the contracts done. And so we put in a separate department to carry that budget because eventually the fuel was gonna settle down. And that way, instead of having this jump, in everybody's department, we decided to have that fuel contingency account to have that special jump in that department. And so now each department, it's more level. In any type of uncertainty, we kind of made that fuel contingency account for that budget year.
Okay. And back to the legal, there's no increase in the legal department, but yet, in the legal budget, but we have 2 or 3 ongoing lawsuits right now.
Only one the town is involved with. The legal is set up as a reserve account. Last year budget or this year that we're in, we had funded 35,000 and did not use any of that to date yet. And so that money will carry forward into next year. And so did not think we needed to put another 35 in there. I believe it was 20 that we put in, or maybe 15. So anything that's left over this year in that legal reserve is available to use next year.
So it's a carryover.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a question about the Oklahoma committee, Oklahoma contribution. Not that I want to take away from anybody else, but why are we giving Rainy Hope Ranch more than what you're doing for Oklahoma? On number 47 and 13.
I'm going to have to say it's been Sally. It's the same as last year. It's always been like that.
Well, it was 1,500 and then it's gone down to 1,000 and the same level, but why did we add on Rainy Hope Ranch with more than 1,500? Not that I want to take away from Rainy Hope Ranch, I love them, but it just seems like it should be the same for Oklahoma, at least.
What is that under, Martha?
It was under
470.
470.
Still you done? 470.
And Rainy Hope Ranch is a business, and it's a nonprofit, so why is the town donating into it?
It's always been that. That's the way it was presented. It was never proposed differently or anything, so. I'm not for or against it.
I just don't understand, but that's why we're doing that.
I don't know that we have a really good answer for you, to be honest with you. We contribute to these every year and kind of, I don't know why we changed, and that was back when the other committee was operating the Oklahoma Week. Maybe you can, we just not need to reduce it for some reason, or you remember, Keith?
No, the new committee took over in 2024.
Right, and that's when it dropped down.
Right.
So.
Added Rainy Hope Ranch.
And we added in, because they were a new business at that, they were a new operation at that time. And they do stuff in town as well. They asked us for a donation, we got some word, oh, it was a good thing to give to in town.
So.
And Old Home Week is too, I'm not taking anything away from Old Home. That's,
Yeah, but we're getting less than that.
I don't have an answer for that.
So how do we raise that for another year? So obviously, we're not gonna do anything now, but how do we raise it for another year? So we're.
Well, we can make a note about it and take care of it. I mean, it's not difficult to do. Just, I'll be honest with you, we look at this and we go down through that, yep, we do that one every year. This is what I look at that, all right? These are all good people, they're all good organizations, and that's what we contribute. It's a tiny little, it's a little tiny thing in the budget, right?
It is a little thing in the budget.
So we don't,
Right.
not to take away its importance, but, it is.
It is a tiny thing in the budget, but it is important.
It is, absolutely, I agree.
I don't recall why we dropped that. It's certainly something we can consider.
Did you guys have too much money? Is that what it was? That's what it was, he said that.
Yeah. Since we're looking at that, what is the adult education 4723 there versus under the school budget?
So the town is responsible for adult ed, our share of the operation of the UTC. The adult ed under the school side of things is a different adult ed that the school budget carries for. This one is, I want to say community college, but that's not the right word. But the town, that's a town share versus a school share is that one.
It's the students that aren't eligible to be in school anymore.
And UTC offers courses for adults to take. UTC is United Technology Center for both vocational schools. And they do offer courses, evening courses for adults. And I think we have had adults take. That's just town share, the support.
I thought that was under the school budget.
Well, there's two of them.
It'll get voted within the school budget too, but it's the town portion of our share for the UTC.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think Alex raised a great point. This is nothing hearing. I mean, you can't, anything can be adjusted. Or is this just a listen?
No, it is a hearing. We'll sign the final warrant at the next board meeting.
I mean,
Can we add 5
Yeah.
minutes to that?
Yep,
that's the point of this, right?
yeah.
Agree.
I mean,
Yeah.
the life of the $500, we were spending an additional 15, 20, 80, 40,000 there.
Yeah.
It's almost nothing, but it does, it involves everybody.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
everyone that wants to be involved.
Yeah.
And, just see that as.
We get at 500 or so. Yep. I so
It's
noted.
an easy fix.
Thank you.
I mean, insurance, you know, 10, 20, 30, 50, $80,000 at point, but I'm not, no control over it. This should be controlled.
Agree.
Thank you.
At the meeting last week, it was brought up that the latest evaluation showed some mold in the library.
Mhm.
Is that remediation of that mold somewhere in the budget? And if it's not, can it be added?
There's nothing been brought up, but that was a conversation under the reserve. If there is a big remediation, that would be taken out of that reserve account. And the reserves are to not make these budgets have a big swing. And to take that library budget and add a big mold remediation one year and then have it come down, is why we established reserves.
So it would come out of that reserve.
If there's a big remediation, yeah.
So we moving forward by that.
I haven't seen anything from the librarian about that project yet.
I think that meeting was the first we'd heard about it. We had no idea. It hadn't been brought to our attention.
But I think it's something that's quite, it's a house issue that needs to be moved on as rapidly as possible. And also, when you're talking about mold in the library, you could be talking about ruination of a lot of books.
Agreed.
May I ask, James, seeing as you're in this facility a lot, what do you know about that?
Nothing.
Nothing.
He was just like, well, I'm taking this.
Okay, so this is news to
We,
you. Because I guess my point is, the library, it's all one building. So that's a big issue, I think it would have made its way to your office.
we had a Nigerian who tried cleaning before, that was about 5 years ago, I haven't seen anything since. But that doesn't,
Yeah.
I'll look into it tomorrow.
I'm not saying it's not.
no, I'll look into it tomorrow.
Because, yeah, you want to know, you don't know, right? Some of them, you're attention. Thank you.
Fair warning.
Non-negotiable.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Anyone who wants